your emails, take your calls, and interview some intriguing guests. So just go to irnchat.com to chat, interact, and listen live to the Outlander show. Today is Saturday, January 6th, 2018, and blasting off with some UFO reports. A UFO sighting in Lowell, Massachusetts. This occurred January 1st, 2018. Way to start off the new year. Multiple hovering lights in semicircle formation. In more detail, the witness states my husband went outside to use our grill and quickly called me out to our back deck. He pointed out a bright light which appeared to be hovering in the distance on the left side of our property. He then pointed to the opposite side of our property, and there were between 5 to 7 very bright lights, which also appeared to be hovering. When scanning from the right side of our house to the left side, you could clearly see they formed a semicircle around the area. Since there were some trees obstructing our view outside, we ran inside to a large window in the dining room on the side of the house. From there we were able to get a very clear view of the lights to the right of our house. None were moving. All appeared to be hovering. We questioned if they were perhaps planes, but again they were not moving, and there were no additional lights on them. Also, I'm sure planes would not even be allowed that close in proximity to each other. I assume, being that they were close, they would be considered in each other's airspace. We sat there and watched them for about 20 minutes, and then they abruptly disappeared. They did not fly away or dim. They literally just disappeared. My husband took video from inside the house, which did not come out good, likely due to the window glare. Shortly after they disappeared, about 10 minutes, another appeared by itself. I took video of this one from our deck. It's not good quality. You can only tell that it is a bright light, but you can plainly see that it is not moving, just hovering. We're not totally sure what we saw, but these were definitely not airplanes. Very curious to know if anyone else in the area saw this as well. We live in Lowell, Massachusetts. The Concord River is directly to the left of our house. Huh, cool. The next UFO sighting, this occurred in Syracuse, New York. Yeah. This occurred, oh, this is a big UFO blast from the past. All right. Those always seem to have more details. 1966, May 31st, football-shaped object, rear red, front green, emitting light from these two areas, coming into sight, pausing, and continuing. In more detail, they state, in June of 1996, cannot recall specific evening. I was outside in Syracuse, New York. It was a clear night, after sunset, quite dark. I was with 3 friends. No alcohol or anything similar was involved. Okay, there goes everything else. We noticed a football-shaped light, or pair of lights, zooming silently and rapidly overhead. It was as if a football had a black band around its shorter circumference. On either side of this dark area were 2 lighted areas. Left of the band was red. The front part of the football shape was green. These lighted areas are what gave the object its, quote, football shape. Just picture a football with a black band painted around its shorter circumference, then picture the left-hand part of the football illuminated red. In the area of the right side of the black band, the front part, illuminated green. Then picture this in a black sky. All you could see were the 2 lighted areas, but they seemed to be part of one object. It zoomed into sight and suddenly stopped, it seemed, very close to us. Let's say several hundred feet above the ground. Ooh, wow, that's really close. After a pause, it immediately zoomed on in the same direction and disappeared over the horizon. The whole event took less than a minute. It was not an airplane. It wasn't some searchlight in the sky, and the 2 lighted areas stayed the same distance from each other. To me, it was a black football-shaped object that was lighted, somehow its rear being red and its front being green. It was totally silent. No motor noises, I had never experienced anything like it before and never have again. I've been curious after all these years if anyone else reported seeing this phenomenon in Syracuse, New York in June 1966. Wow. All right, the next UFO sighting. Oh, nice name. I cannot pronounce Nanaomi. Nanaoma? Nanomo, British Columbia. This happened December 31st, 2017. Two orange orbs changing speed and direction. In more detail, the witness states, myself and some friends were around a campfire in my backyard. Since my last sighting earlier in the month, I have been looking up much more often into the sky. I then noticed two orange orbs south of me, heading north and then east. They seemed to almost be playing cat and mouse, as they would speed up and slow down and follow one another, changing speed and direction. After about 4 to 5 minutes, the lights vanished like they were turned off. While this was happening, I ran into my house to get my other guests and kids on the back deck to see. Almost a full moon, night, minimal clouds, and slight wind, my wife and I saw one orange orb along with a green and white one earlier that month, and we had told our friends and were glad that some of the people we told actually now saw what we saw this night. After that, we saw local planes landing and taking off, as well as larger planes on descent to Vancouver Airport. All those had the normal lights and sounds. One of my guests has a commercial grade drone, and his initial reaction was his drone could not fly that high, and he thought it was about 5,000 feet up. 5 adults and 2 children, 7 and 11, saw this. Ooh-wee. All right. This next UFO sighting occurred in Bargersville, Indiana, December 29th, 2017. 3 domed saucer-like bright lights in sky, followed by 5 small balls of light following. Cool. The picture attached was posted on our neighborhood Facebook page. The poster had commented on the perfectly shaped, thawed water line on the lake. My girlfriend and I viewed the objects in the sky and thought they were strange. My girlfriend ended up posting a comment about them. Then several people responded saying they were glad someone had the guts to bring that up. What were you afraid still of this stuff? Okay. All right, next UFO sighting. This happened in my hometown, San Francisco, California, December 22nd, 2017, glowing green. On December 22nd, 2017, at approximately 7:50, I was texted by a coworker a picture he just took of a green object in the sky over the San Francisco Bay, approximately southeast. My coworker took the photo from the roof of our 43-story office building while doing his daily rounds and checks. As he was taking a picture of the sunrise, he noticed the green object. He saw the object for about 15 minutes. I did not notice the text until about a half hour later, so by the time I was able to get to the roof, the glow was gone. While later looking at the picture on his phone, my coworker showed me that the object darted around, but it was not visible to the human eye at the time. Please let me know what you think. Well, I think it's cool. Um, Next one. Ooh, an alien encounter in Stevenage, England. This is a bit of a blast from the past. This happened May 1st, 2012. This is not a UFO encounter. It is an alien encounter or something. I just don't know. That's what they said. Okay, more detail. They say, hello. One night, I got in bed, turned the light off so it was dark. I put my head on the pillow and blinked 2 or 3 times, ready to fall asleep. On the last blink, I opened my eyes, and there was what looked like a tall man standing halfway down my bed, looking straight at me. I thought that if I ever saw a ghost, I would literally poop my pants. He used the bad word, though. But I was not worried at all. The man looked tall. Oh boy, here we go. This is my arena. Black suit, black tie, white shirt. I could not make out his face. although he did have a light-colored shaped face. His head looked like, to me, a 60-year-old with a teddy boy haircut, going a bit bald on top at the front. That he had having same hair cut since his youth. After opening my eyes and seeing this man standing there, I quickly closed them again and opened them just as quick. I do not know why I opened my eyes straight away, but as I did the man bent forward and held his arms out as if to grab me. Ugh. I just closed my eyes again. Next thing I knew, I opened them to see it was morning and light out. But it only felt like 2 or 3 seconds had passed. The memory was as fresh in my mind as if only 2 or 3 seconds had actually passed. I do not know who to turn to, as this is another incident before after this one has been playing on my mind. It was not a dream. I know that. Can you offer any explanation on what I saw that night? If you wish to know more of my encounters, there is one more black suit incident. Please let me know. If there is something strange going on, it always happens to me. Thank you. Oh, wow. He put this in the wrong category here. I have to see if I can find this person. That is a Hatman incident. He wears a suit. I named the phenomenon. I named the shadow people phenomenon. And yeah, sometimes he wears a hat, sometimes he doesn't. It could be a trench coat, a cape, three-piece suit. Sometimes people see details, other times they don't. Sometimes a top hat, sometimes a gaucho hat, sometimes a derby hat, and even a cowboy hat. So Hatman is no good. Yes, he is kind of related to the alien phenomenon. And yeah, if you're listening, I'd say go to HeidiHollis.com and look up the Hatman. That is unfortunately something I know all too well. All right, moving on. This is ooh, here comes another good word for me to try to pronounce. UFO sighting in Lac La Biche, Alberta. I don't know French. This occurred as a bit of a UFO blast from the past. September 12th, 2015, was an orange, slow pulsating object almost in a football shape hovering over the lake for roughly 5 minutes. In more detail, they state me and my girlfriend were driving around for a couple of hours, enjoying the night, and came to a rest at a boat launch for a cigarette and stretch a leg, but decided not to get out of the car because we noticed a dim, darker, orange, glowing football-shaped object hovering over the lake about a mile away and possibly 500 meters in the air in a northeast direction. There was absolutely no sound made but the waves lapping against the shore. The object was just sitting there, hovering with a pulsating, dull, dark orange glow. It gave us both a chill to see such an incredible thing, and as soon as we were going to go for our phones to try to snap a picture, the object kind of dropped down several meters and then shot up into the sky at a crazy speed, soundless, leaving an orange trail behind that lasted only a few seconds. It was around 1:20 a.m. when this sighting took place, and by 1:25 a.m. it was over, and we were then in a hurry to get out of there as fast as we could. This was the most incredible thing I have ever seen in my life, as well as my girlfriend, but so very, very strange. The exact location was at Old Lac La Biche Mission, Alberta, Canada. I'm sorry I slaughtered that name. Um, I swear, you guys see this pattern? With a lot of these sightings, especially the real good juicy ones where people are like, it was so clear, it was so freaky, and I went for my camera, oop, it's as if it heard me and it took off. What? These things often respond to people, and sometimes mentally people can say things and they'll respond. It's happened to me. It's in a book, really. It is just mind blowing. It happened to me 3 times, pretty tremendous times to be exact. All right, moving on. UFO sighting in Beverly Hills, California. All right. This occurred November 11th, 2017. Was leaving work when I observed these strange lights in the sky. Well, alrighty. Sighting occurred at 11:20 p.m. November 11, 2017, Veterans Day. The entire sighting lasted about 5 minutes. I was leaving work in Beverly Hills, California, and was walking down an alley towards my car when I saw three glowing red orbs in a triangle formation just hovering out of nowhere. They hovered and moved about slightly in complete silence. Their movement was very strange, very smooth. They reminded me of the way a marionette moves for some reason. Then they disappeared, almost as if camouflaging or cloaking, one by one to my utter shock. At first I thought they might be drones, however, they seemed larger than any drone I have ever seen, approximately car-sized, accounting for distance. They did not have any strobing or other lighting like aircraft typically do. The weather was somewhat foggy, and I couldn't quite make out their shape. One of the red lights reappeared momentarily for a minute or so and then disappeared just as quickly. Hmm. The next UFO sighting, this happened in Los Angeles. This happened January 1st, 2018. Nice way to start the new year. From second story balcony, red lights against mountain, up, down, very, very fast, moved, then back over houses. Oh, these red lights are heading all over California, it sounds like. Around 8 p.m., January 1st, 2018, went out to second story balcony against dark mountains in distance, saw row of light moving up, down, like elevator. Seemed to be over mountaintop houses. Then, sudden, rapid, very fast, moved across the sky. Faster than a plane or a chopper. Hovered, then fast back over houses. It seemed to descend. I then drove a few blocks up towards mountain houses. I saw nothing else. Okay. Next UFO sighting. This occurred in Stoke-on-Trent, England. November 29th, 2017. To circle, bright red and back to white constantly, danced together in sky, then shot up and disappeared. In more detail, the witness states, I have been seeing this every 2 years around middle of November in different locations, always not far from where I was living at the time. It all started when I was 17. I'm 39 now. When I was 17, I had a dream I was floating in the sky and unable to come back down. When I awoke, I had a perfect circle, like a burn, but perfectly circle on my lower back, just above my waistline. This was the middle of November, 1997. Since then, every single November in the middle of the month, I'm unable to stop looking at the sky at night. Every 2 years, I see the same dancing lights with the same movements, all others. Okay. As all others. Please don't think I'm a nutter. A nutter? I've kept this to myself for many years due to ridicule, but yet again, this middle of November I was flying my owl at Park Hall in Staffordshire, England. The same light, same dance appeared over my head. I don't know what's going on. But every time I see them, I feel a deep terror, followed by a soothing feeling as if it's okay. Please, could you help identify these things, and why every 2 years in the middle of November do they turn up in my eyesight? Please don't ridicule me. It's took me years to get in touch with yourselves. I just need to know what is going on. Many thanks. I have no evidence of this as it quickly happens, and for some reason, recording it never comes to mind. I'm not a crackpot. Something's going on, and I'd like to get to the bottom of it. Many thanks again. Ooh, okay, I won't ridicule you. That is very different. I could say I have not heard that, but you know what? I have heard of people noticing this type of, it's like a rhythmic visitation from alien beings even to check up on their prodigies, or I don't know what you would rather call them, but if they've had bad interactions with people, such as abductions, they'll check on the implants, make sure they're still in place, and things like that. So, yeah, maybe something is going on along those lines, and unfortunately. All right, moving on. This next UFO sighting happened in Wolcott, New York. This is a serious blast from the past. This happened May 1st, 1994. While smoking, another common pattern, right? While smoking outside, I saw a UFO appear above a barn across the road from where I lived. In more detail, they state I was late out at night, about midnight, and I remember it was very nice out, so I'm guessing it was May, and I stepped outside to have a cigarette on the deck. We kept a dog outside on a chain, and she was barking and facing the direction across the road from me. I followed her gaze toward a small animal which turned out to be a raccoon after it scurried its way under the light of a nearby outdoor light. I watched as the raccoon made its way into a hole in the side of a barn. Just as it entered the barn, that's when it happened. Some gigantic craft appeared out of nowhere just above this barn, which such bright lights of the likes I have never seen before. It's probably the raccoon from Guardians of the Galaxy. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. I'm just kidding. And it was as if this thing took immediate control over me, and my dog quit barking, and all the crickets and toads quit chirping. Everything was silent, and I couldn't move anything except my eyes. This lasted long enough for the cigarette to burn the full length down to the filter, and that's when it released me to where I was able to move again. I'm guessing about 8 minutes went by, judging by how long it takes to burn through a cigarette, and then the thing vanished without descending away. Some things I was able to observe were that it was so bright I couldn't see the shape, and it didn't make a single noise. Wow. Things like that changes a whole person's reality and their whole perspective on life. And here our government has hidden the facts that they have been looking into these topics for a very, very long time, way beyond the 5 years that they've just disclosed. Oh, makes me so mad. Okay, anyways, moving on. It's starting off the new year right, I thought, this week. Inspirational stories of miracles and angels, and, forgive me if some of them don't fall into that ramification of definition, because I am just reading these as they are popping up on my screen, and sometimes people put things that I am just like beyond shocked. All right, this one is called Angelic Being at Bedside. I have a dear friend battling cancer who's in the hospital with liver failure from chemo. Yeah, they don't tell you about those side effects. It's terrible. She told me yesterday that she opened her eyes to see a light angelic being hovering over her with arms spread wide, and that the angel circled her bed, holding her hands close to my friend's body, sending healing energy to her. Oh, wow. I asked, did the angel have wings? She told me that it did indeed have wings. Oh, that's beautiful. Sitting in silence. The other night I came to stay for the Christmas holidays with my dad and brother. My brother sometimes is a person I still don't get along with, even though we are adults. He keeps to himself and seems to ignore me most of the time. I feel very sad about this every time I visit my family. He is not nice to my mom at all, who lives separate from him and my dad. On the first night I was here, I held back tears as we ate supper. I played cards with my dad. I could have talked to my dad about it, but I didn't know how to put it into words. That night I cried when I went to bed, and in the middle of the night I woke up to see a woman in a black and orange dress sitting beside my bed. She never said anything, just sat in silence, but after a while I fell back to sleep. In the morning I felt refreshed, like I had been talking to a good friend. That's a different kind of encounter. Black and orange doesn't strike me as very inviting. All right, Halloween. This next one is called Angel Encounter. It was an extremely sad day for me and my husband. We had just left from our veterinarian's office after taking our female Persian, she was 13 years old, in to have her put to sleep. She had been suffering from liver disease, and I could see in her eyes that she was telling me it was time for her to leave us. We were on our way home and waiting at a stoplight. Just as it turned green and we were about to enter the intersection, something made my husband and the people in their vehicle across from us hesitate. A lady who was apparently talking on her cell phone and not paying any attention sped through the light. Oh, I know with all my heart that my little girl had somehow let us know and saved not only our lives but those of the people across from us. We miss our little sweetie every day, but know one day we'll see her again. Oh, righty, that's different. Angel story. I was out shopping today with my husband and Mum. I had not been feeling all that good, but had read an angel book. I then thought about it and said if there were such things, and for me to have a sign. Today a young man appeared from nowhere and said I had a lovely smile and was pretty when I used it. Was he an angel? He was a small man, but was handsome. He bought very little at the shop and went out afterwards. Could be. That's kind of cool. My angel sighting. I was 10 years old and visiting my Nana. I went down the hall and I had to pass her room to get to the room. I was staying in and there was a crack in the door. Okay. I stopped and looked in and there was a woman standing right in the middle of the room wearing a white or really light yellow dress. She had long brown hair. She had a light glow all around her face. I felt at peace. I haven't seen her since, but I feel that she is my guardian angel. My guardian angel. That's what this one is called. My daughter was age 3 when I was taking her to daycare. I had left the house and traveled 2 blocks when I came to a major intersection that was being widened. I was the first car at the light. My daughter was in her child seat in the front. The light turned green. As I readied to go through the intersection, loud and clear, I heard the words, "Don't go." It was so clear that I thought someone was in my back seat. I checked the rearview mirror. There was no one. At that point I thought, "Oh, I am holding up traffic," and started to proceed through the intersection when a dump truck full of hot asphalt ran the red light. There's a lot of these stories, huh? I was told that if I hadn't delayed the impact from the dump truck, it would have killed us, and if not, the hot asphalt would have burned us to death. I always thought it was my daughter's angel. Years later I spoke with a psychic. She said she was mine and that I had 3, 1 strong woman and 2 men. The psychic said, "You know, the men that help you do things around here." I thank them a lot. Very cool. Seems to be there's a lot of avoidances of going through lights that people are blowing on the opposite side. It's very, very, very wild. And you know, they always say green means to proceed with caution, not to just go blindly into the coming traffic or the intersection. So always check around. Well, I want to thank you all for listening to me, Heidi Hollis. This is UFO Headline News, and be sure to check out UFOHeadlineNews.com every single day because we put out a show every single day. And also tune into my other weekly show, The Outlander, Fridays at 8 p.m. Central, 9 p.m. Eastern. And, I always welcome people to send me their experiences, or their comments and questions, even UFO sightings, and I will address them on that program. And I want to tell you, go to HeidiHollis.com in order to send that to me to the email dusoutlander@gmail.com. Remember always to keep an open mind.